Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to give you a quick demo of how to create a video using Adobe Express. So the first thing you want to do is head over to express.adobe.com. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And then you need to put in your email address and click continue. And then it might ask you if you want to sign in using a personal account or a company or school account. It's important you choose company or school account so you get the full premium access. So once that does its thing and logs in, then you should be able to see up in the top right corner that you have this premium member. If you don't see that, then just go back and make sure that you've signed in using your email address and that company or school account. Right, so let's dive in. Let's just hit the plus button in the top left corner to begin with, and we're going to choose video. Just a quick note that if anything's not exactly where I'm showing you on this demo, then it's probably just had a bit of an update. It will be close by, so just pause the video a second and then come back to it once you've found it. Now is a really important decision. You've got to choose whether you want mobile video or whether you want normal video. This is really important because you need to start by thinking where your end user is going to watch your video. So for example, if you are doing this for a lecturer, for a piece of coursework, then the likelihood is they're going to be watching it back and marking it on a laptop screen rather than their mobile phone. So I'm going to choose normal video. Always check your assessment brief because that might say something in it about what you actually want to do, whether it's portrait, landscape, or anything like that. If you want some inspiration to get started, there's a load of templates on the left-hand side that you can choose from, but I'm going to do everything from scratch today. So I'm just going to close that. And I've actually already recorded my first line of video. So I could click Add Media down here, but I'm going to do it through the Add Content button. So I'm going to click Add Content, then Media, and then you've got four options up at the top here. You've got All, Photos, Videos, or Audio. So just to get into good practice, I'm going to go to Videos, and then Upload from Device. And I can see this video that I recorded earlier, just going to double click that, and that'll bring it into my project. So let's just have a look back at that. Did you know that 1 in 4 grassroots music venues are facing permanent closure? So the first thing I want to do with that is make it sound a bit better. It sounds all right, but not perfect. So I'm just going to click this Enhance Speech button. Enhanced Speech is a feature that's been around for a little while now, and it does a really great job of cleaning up audio. So whenever you see it, I really recommend using it. It actually also makes sounds really consistent. So whether you've recorded out and about or in front of your desk, it kind of makes everything sound consistent as if it's been recorded in one place. So let's just have a listen to that. Did you know that 1 in 4 grassroots music venues are facing permanent closure? That's sounding a lot better to me. So the next thing I want to do is actually change this. You know, it's not that interesting just looking at my face. It's always really good to have a human face, and a lot of social media algorithms favor that kind of thing. But I want something else alongside that. So now that it's in here, you can actually see that I've got these crop marks, so I can pull in from one of the sides and make this fill just half of the screen. You might notice these little guides and lines that keep popping up. They're to help you keep things neat. So I know that this is filling exactly half the screen. I'm just going to double click into that, and then I can reposition what part of the image is showing in that half of the screen. Again, you've got these guides here to make sure that everything is looking nice and symmetrical. Then for the other half of my screen, I want to include some stock footage. So I'm going to go back up to Add Content, and I'm going to say Media again, and back over to Videos. And I'm going to search for some stock footage of live music. So let's just search live music. And I'll go with this clip here. it'll give me two options. So add as layer on canvas. This is the one I want at the moment. We'll come back to this, add as scene in sequence. So let's go add as layer on canvas. And what that's done is put it on top of the video I've already got. So similarly to the video I just did, I'm just going to crop it to make it fill half the screen, and then just neaten this one up a bit and reposition this one. And then I can play that back. Did you know that 1 in 4 grassroots music venues are facing permanent closure? That's all looking good to me, so we're ready to move on to the next scene. So I'm going to do what I did before, click Add Content and Media, and let's find another piece of stock footage. I quite like this one. And this time, because we're adding it after this in the sequence, we're going to say Add as Scene in Sequence. Great. Now I'm ready to record a bit of a voiceover. You can record voiceovers directly within Adobe Express. So as with the things we've been doing before, go to Add Content, Media, but this time I'm going to come to Audio, and I'm going to choose Record Voiceover. You can choose your webcam here. You can choose if you automatically apply the enhanced speech, but I'm just going to click Start Recording. These venues contribute to the local economy and support thousands of jobs. Just hit finish recording. That enhanced speech is applying automatically, and fingers crossed that will do its thing now. One thing you will notice is that this isn't covering the entire length of the video and will need a bit of trimming. So let's have a look at this. These venues contribute. So for a start, I want to cut off the end bit. So we can see it started about there. I'm just going to drag in this corner here. These venues contribute to the local economy and support thousands of jobs. And I can close it up about there. Now I can drag and drop this to the start of the scene, and I can trim the scene down to around about the length of that voiceover. So now we should get it going from scene 1 to scene 2. It's in permanent closure. These venues contribute to the local economy and support thousands of jobs. Great, now we're ready for scene 3. Going to do a very similar thing. This time I'm going to do the voiceover first, just to mix things up. So I'll add a blank scene, and I'm going to record voiceover and start recording. Without these venues, new talent would have nowhere to grow. Again, it'll automatically apply the enhanced speech, and we will need to just trim it up a little bit. You'll see what's happened here is that it's actually created another scene because scenes automatically go in for 5 seconds. So this is just something to be a little bit aware of. So I'm just going to actually delete this scene here and then extend this scene out. And then we can tweak it as needed. So let me just hit play. Without these, so I can start the audio about there. Without these venues, new talent would have nowhere to grow. And bring that in a little bit as well. And again, just bring that to the front of the scene. And then I'm going to add some more stock footage. So if I go into videos here and have a look through this, and I'll put this one in for now. Obviously, I recommend taking a little bit more time choosing your footage than I am doing here, but this is just for demo purposes. So now I can just trim this scene down and have a look at that scene. Jobs. Without these venues, new talent would have nowhere to grow. Okay, and on to the last scene. So again, I'm just going to go add media, add blank scene, and I'm going to record the last bit of my voiceover. Support your local music scene. There we go. That one didn't add an extra scene at the end because it was under that 5 seconds. That's just a little quirk to be aware of, that it might do that if you record over 5 seconds. So again, I'm going to trim this in to be roughly the amount of time. And on this one, I want to put a bit of a graphic. Now, if you want to know more about creating graphics, then I really recommend looking at the video I've done on posters, which will give you a lot more information. But something to be aware of here is when you add graphics in and templates, they'll automatically come in and try to make it into a document for you. So I've saved the one I want to use, so I'll show you what I mean. If I go to my favorites, and this is one that I want to bring in, you can find your own in templates, but this is one I like. Just go in to click it and you'll get this page. Now, if you say add as pages, that's going to really confuse your project. So what I recommend doing is saying start new file. And then once you've done this start new file, what you want to do is copy and paste everything from that back into your project. This is basically just a little quirk of how the software works, and this is the workaround for the moment. So if you ever see that scene asking if you want to add as pages, just remember this, and you want to start a new file and then copy and paste back into your original file. Otherwise, things are going to get very messy. Right, so here we want to just put the text, support your local music scene. And then I'm just going to drag this up a little bit. Like I say, if you want to know more about graphics, then please do have a look at the graphics video that I've created. The other thing you'll notice that's different of this one is that the background's a different color. So if I switch over to that, then you can see this has this gray background. So the way to fix that is if you click anywhere just outside of your canvas, then you'll see on this edit page section here, then you've got background color. So you could choose black, but that's not quite right. So the easiest way to find a color that's already there is to use this eyedropper. So click the eyedropper and then you can choose the exact color, and that's looking a lot better. The next thing I want to do is animate this text on. So I'm going to click the text and go into animation. And then I'm going to use a typewriter effect. So I'm going to click typewriter. You can change the duration, which I think for this I'll probably want it about 2 seconds roughly. I could have it animating on by word as well. So I'll go for that. And then let's see how that works. Would have nowhere to grow. Support your local music scene. Not quite. I think that support your local music scene needs to come in a touch later. So if I bring that forward a little bit. Nowhere to grow. Support your local music scene. Much better. Last thing I want to do for this project is add a bit of music underneath. So I'm going to go back to Add Content, Media. And if I go to Audio, then you'll see there's a lot of stock music already in here. Now, I know this project is showing at about 20 seconds, so I'm looking something that's around the 20-second mark. Let's try for this Gone for Bad one. I'm not sure how it'll sound. That'll do. So I'm just going to click that, and that'll add that to the timeline. Maybe a little bit short. Then it comes up with a couple of options. So the first thing I want to do is bring this volume right down so I can make sure I can hear the voiceover. I'm going to start off by trying it at about 10%, and I'll also give it a bit of a fade in and out, and I'll move it along so it's roughly covering the main part of my video. Right, let's go back and have a look how this is going. Did you know that 1 in 4 grassroots music venues are facing permanent closure? These venues contribute to the local economy and support thousands of jobs. Without these venues, new talent would have nowhere to grow. Support your local music scene. And there we have it. This is just the foundations. Play around with it and get used to the software. It's really intuitive. So once you start playing around with it, you tend to be able to find what you want to do fairly easily. Once you've done that, you can come to download, and MP4 format is best for video. So choose MP4. I always recommend choosing 1080p or 720p. 1080p is probably the best, but if you're having problems with file size limits, then you might want to go 720p. I'll choose 1080p and then click download.